What is pressure when you're wearing their jersey?
Is Matthias Gitzo gonna break the all-time record?
The mood is good in Aalborg at the moment.
Oh my god, what a freaking episode. Oh my god.
Ball across to Dylan Nahi, double in flight. Oh, what a start.
Ooh, into the net.
She does it again.
Yes. Van Dijvenberg are the champions of Europe. To come up with something here. She has a game. This is a massive keeper. What a comeback.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk handball again in all shades of colors today. We will get to that in a second because we are headed towards the two greatest weekends of the year. We are headed towards the EHF FINAL4 weekends and we're looking out to what's coming. And let's check if he still has a voice from all the screaming that he did for FC Copenhagen. But I can tell you he has some temps on him, ladies and gentlemen. Our personal champion, Martin Vilstrup. How's it going?
It's going very well, Bengt, and I actually like your introductions. The only thing is that FC Copenhagen is my club's rivals. So, but maybe shouting at them was what you meant, because my team is called AGF and they won the Danish championship for the first time in 40 years. But that's a different sport. I mean, but I am good in general. I am very good. Now we will play the Champions League qualification. And speaking about Champions League, this podcast will be about that.
Yeah, fair enough. Then I misinterpreted your postings on Instagram, but man, you saw some sun ever since you took off your shirt in the stands there, right?
I mean, I saw some guys at the age of, 25, taking their jersey off, and I thought if now's not the time to take mine off as well, then I don't know when it is, since I've never ever experienced my team to win a championship before. So I thought I'd do it now, and I might as well stand up doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fair enough. And from one shade of brown, we're coming over to the next woman here, who isn't just shining because of her pale skin, but she's shining because of all the trophies that she lifted throughout her career, and who is now dedicated to pass on the knowledge to build a new Serbian mafia to fill the shoes that she left behind. Andrea Lekic, how's it going?
Very well. Every time exciting seeing you guys. Really looking forward to this podcast, especially. Hopefully it's not going to be about football. It's going to be more about Martin and his color of the skin. So that I'm very jealous, but otherwise feeling very well. And I have to say I missed you.
Aw, that's cute. I mean, you could have gone with Martin to Greece, I think it was.
He's selfish.
It was
I mean,
Greece.
he didn't call. That's how it is.
And
He wants all the glory of his body for himself.
I missed you guys as well. Let's start by saying that. But no, I was the Toastmaster at a wedding, and I actually do believe if I had to bring some, you two could do a pretty good job as co-host of Toastmasters as well. I mean, isn't it just basically to get some practical things going on and then make sure that everybody gets drunk? That's what it's about.
Yeah, fair enough. And we want to see who is getting drunk in a week and in 2 weeks, because we are facing the final weekends here of the EHF Champions League. And well, Andrea, how was the week before Budapest? So when you were facing a Final Four event that you were visiting, how was it the week before?
The first thing is the days are flying. Mm-hmm. Really, the time is really running, and I mean, it's beautiful. That level of beautiful stress and let's say anxious moments is something that really you have to feel. It's really hard to describe, and it's a huge excitement and just a privilege, and just feeling grateful to have this opportunity to be part of the biggest stage.
Something that you miss just right now?
Very much. I mean, Budapest is really special. I really enjoyed every single second. So when I think about that, I'm a bit jealous. Thinking about these emotions that I know that I'm not going to have again, but really happy. And I hope I'm going to be there watching live.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it was your home for quite some time as well. That's why it probably brings up some memories as well. But as we're looking at the participants there, CSM Bucuresti against Metz and Győr against Brest, are you missing Budapest there?
Yes, of course. I mean, when I was guessing the teams who are going to be part of the Final Four, then I of course said Ferencváros. I mean, that my last club in my career. So I really wanted them to be there because having their fans, it's a special thing. Completely. I mean, I have lived it, and everyone who have witnessed this moment, they really talk about this year as a special year. Just witnessing this atmosphere, but all the other teams I predicted very well.
Yeah, you didn't do too bad there. That is for sure.
Yeah.
And Martin,
first time.
Well, there's a first time for everything at some point.
Yeah, that's right.
Martin,
That's right.
Looking at those fixtures, CSM Bucharest against Metz and Győr against Brest, which semifinal will be the closest one?
Oh, it's a tough. Oh, I believe. Actually, I've been looking into it, and I predicted the last couple of years that Brest would do very well, and I thought that now they finally, I don't know, qualified for the Final Four. So I might as well try to stick with them and give the hope that they give me some luck here, because even though they're playing against Győr, I had a look at it, and the last couple of times they're playing together, it's been pretty tight. So actually, I'm gonna go with Győr versus Brest.
Okay, well, then we'll start with that one there, and we'll have a first look at Brest, because it is the last dance of Anna Groß in the season where she scored her 1000th goal. And Andrea, what a great point to step off the career, right?
It's amazing. I mean, I have been also reading the interviews. I have been chatting with Anna, so I know that the career is coming to an end. But what a beautiful way to finish the career. And as she said in the interview for the EHF, she said like she's truly happy just to be there. Mm-hmm. And that means some pressure off the shoulders in one way, but in another way, you just wanna really finish the Final Four with a victory. Everyone who was there wants to win the trophy. So I do believe that Brest is aiming high, and they can be very unpredictable team on a Final Four.
100%. I mean, she is finishing her career in style at the Raiffeisen Bank EHF FINAL4 this year. Martin, a deserved farewell for an outstanding player, right?
Most definitely, and what a way to end it if she's gonna make it all the way. But yeah, we were even privileged to have Anna a couple of times also at the Excellence Awards with us, and yeah, she's a very nice person, and what a career. And also for Slovenian women handball, she's been a key player and a role model for I don't know how many years actually, and you cannot say way too many years, but for 2 decades, maybe something like that. It's been for a very, very long time. So yeah, very impressive to be at the top at different countries and different clubs for that long.
Quite an achievement, that is for sure. I mean, it's her 4th EHF FINAL4 and the 6th semifinal that she is attending. Andrea, how is the 6th different than the first one, and how can her experience help Brest this weekend?
I mean, it's very different. It's you cannot even compare it. When I'm talking about myself being there for the first time, I was really overwhelmed by the emotions, by the spectators, by the whole event that looks magnificent. So for me, I mean, all the others were like, okay, I know what is coming, you know, still you're excited, still you are feeling the beat, and everything is going really, really, really big in your head. But in another way, you have much more experience. You know how to handle stress, you know how to handle your free time, you know how to handle the moments which are going to bring you the peace. And that's most important. I'm being a part of a Final Four. In some way, you have to isolate yourself from many distractions there. Like you're seeing many players in one hotel. It's 4 best teams in the world. So you can just imagine how many people you meet there just in the lobby of hotel, and how many distractions you have along the way in this, let's say, 3 days. So I think that's the most important. And as I know, the Brest has only, I think, 4 players who have been playing on Final Four. So it's quite a new team on a Final Four. It's going to be a big thing for them. And I think that the older, experienced players can help them a bit on their way, let's say.
Is it an advantage or a disadvantage to have so many inexperienced players on that stage?
I mean, hard to say. In past, we had the really pros and cons for that. I mean, we had Chiseme who came first and then won immediately, so we had a completely different impression. But for me, it's a bit tough on the playing in the first Final Four. For sure, it's I'd say the least experienced team. But another way, they don't have that kind of pressure on their shoulders. Talking about that, you know, we are talking about Győr, who is having a pressure defending a trophy, you know, so everyone is expecting from them to win it again. But from another point of view, Brest can play one way completely freely.
100%. And I mean, not everybody of them is unexperienced. For example, Anna Vyachireva, she is leaving Metz Brest this summer as well. She has scored 104 goals. But when she has a bad day, it does get close every now and then. It was only 3 goals that she scored against Gloria Bistrica. And then there was only a 1-goal win. So, Martin, is Brest not versatile enough to cover when Vyachireva hasn't got her best day?
Honestly, I believe that they are, but obviously Vakieva is a key player and she's very smart. And not only that, she can also bring some tempo and flow into the game and also play with the line player. And she definitely has the experience that Andrea just spoke about by winning the Champions League also and representing different clubs at the highest level. But obviously, she's very important that she will play well. But as we just spoke about, we also have Anna Gros, and I also really like Marot from France playing left back and playmaker as well. A very good 1-versus-1. And for me, it's very important also speaking about the line player that Ondono is going to play very well because there are some pressure on her since, if I remember correctly, that Foppa is out with happy circumstances with pregnancy. So a player like Foppa is very useful in every team there is, but now it's going to be left on Dono with a big task also coming up.
Yeah, and I mean, she is having a fairly good season as well. I think 66 goals or something in that direction. But Andrea, especially you, as you always love the connection to the line player, could they involve Ondono even a little more into their game to add more spice to it?
The thing is that I don't think that they think too much if they could involve her more, I think they play pretty freely in that way. I think it's just a sense of playing with a line player in a certain moments. I don't think that many things are structured in that way in a cooperation with the line player, talking about Brest, because they really have a fast play, So for me, it's like if they're fast, I mean, their players are extremely good and dominant one-on-one. Many of them are really good in one-on-one. So there are a lot of opportunity. I see much more there, and then afterwards, of course, there are much more space for the line players and for the wings. So of course that they can use her more, but they are so versatile in that way. So I don't think it's going to be an obsession like playing 2-on-2 with the line player.
They can also choose to play with Vakieva, Anna Gros, and then Marot, or even Annika Lott at the same time with Vakieva and then Marot. Depending on how fast they want to play, depending, do they want to go for the crosses, and then Anna Gros with her shot she can do from far distance, Yes. Yeah, in that sense they are very versatile. But having Foppa in the team is always a plus in that sense, in both ends.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, she can play a playmaker, so that's good. I mean, the only line player who plays a playmaker in a fast break. So yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So we do see that Brest actually has their weapons to hurt still the favorite in that matchup, Györ, because they are on the road for a title hat-trick. It could be the second one after 2017 until 2019. Andrea, is that more of a motivation or more pressure for them?
Both. Motivation, pressure. But what is pressure when you're wearing their jersey? It's an everyday thing. I think for them that's just a normal thing. However, it sounds like I play there, I know what it means, and I know there's a huge weight when you take that jersey on your shoulder. I mean, so for me that's just a normal thing for them. They're gonna have a huge support, and I always think that they're very grateful being in this position. Of course, I mean, they want to win it again, that's for sure. Then for the first time, I don't know after how many years, they will have a triple crown. They took also cup and a championship in Hungary. Mm-hmm. And if they take a Champions League, I think it's the first time many years they are going to win everything. So that can be also maybe a motivation to complete the season also.
Well, they're not just setting the standards within Hungary, they are setting the standards within all of Europe, and a treble would definitely suit that one quite good. Yeah. They do look rock solid over the entire season. We haven't just seen that in the quarterfinals against Odense, where they won with 8 and with 15 goals. Martin, does that show that there's still a massive gap between Györ and the rest of Europe?
I mean, that gap in these games were definitely higher than I expected it to be, having in mind that the Györ also struggles with some injuries. But to answer the question, I don't believe so. I mean, we saw last season Odense also performing pretty well against Györ, but it showed that Györ are a superpower within women handball, and that the experience, and whenever it's getting close or you have any doubts, then they just prove you wrong. And the thing that you and Andrea just spoke about also maybe have something to say, that how, in what shape are you coming into the Final Four? I mean, with Györ winning the cup and the league title, Brest and Metz at the moment battling with the two games left for the French title. Metz won the cup trophy in this weekend, that we are speaking, or we just had. There are some factors about that, but no, for me, Gyør, they, even with injuries on the line player, they brought in a new one, and that just shows Gyør, and they have a power in terms of money and history and reputation.
And in defense, because they actually do have the best defense in the entire tournament. It is one of their key factors why they are up there once again. Andrea, what is it that stands out in their defense for you?
But there's a thing, I don't know if I'm talking my name. I mean, I always loved playing against them in that way. So that's I really enjoyed in that kind of duel. So I never felt the pressure in that way talking about the defense, because I really love to have a competition with the middle defenders there. But I do think what they will do, and they really like, is to put all the attackers in the middle. So that's how they do it. They have a triangle in the defense. They usually put all the back players inside together with the middle back, and they hold the line in a triangle. So that's their specialty. They usually have number 2 and number 5 very high, trying to put the attackers inside, So I think they're doing this pretty well. And they are holding the line player. In many ways, they're having 2 players on line player, one who is going a bit front of the defense. And I mean, they are also very physical, so I do think they rely on that a lot. And I mean, they're doing a good thing, but usually their tactic is that let's put everything in the middle we can.
Is there a way out of it? So basically just
there
play
is
it
a way.
around the wing?
Yeah. Line player has to move a bit more, You have to use a line player a bit more playing against them. That's how I saw it. That's how I did it. And I think it's a good thing. I think also they have now different players in the defense. So, I cannot say that that's 100% like same as I did. But I used that way. I was looking at the game on that way. And I think it went really well. But I mean, that's also a lot of practice to put into it. And for sure, I mean, they're playing on their home court. You know what it means? They're even better than they are. You know how it goes. I mean, extra power, having a green wall there. So, I mean, it's really tough to play them against them in MEM.
Well, then let's hope that Ondono is listening here, and that she is taking the hints that Andrea Lekic is leaving for her. But yeah, the one hand is the defense, but of course, on the other hand, you have Bruna de Paula, you have Christina Jürgensen, and Diona Hausherr in the offensive line and in the backcourt. Martin, is that the strongest backcourt still left in the competition?
Yeah. I'm actually gonna. Yes, it is. It is.
What
it
was
is.
it?
No, but I was just thinking, left in the competition, then it's correct. Then I believe there it is. But one of my favorite players for Györ is also in offense and defense is still in Zemenko. I believe she's unbelievable. Her experience and just always looking at her celebrating, smiling, and then she can also, can you say, be a beast in the sense that she can go in front line, and then also in defense when she's covering either number 2 or 4, then go in, can you say, these kind of, in Denmark we call it a Spanish tackle, because you come out of the view where you don't see them, and that can sometimes be straight. I just find her very unbelievable. But obviously Bruno de Paula 1 versus 1, Hausner and Christina Jørgensen, they like to be in control whenever the games needs to be decided. Gyør, playing against Gyør in Budapest, I mean, it's an advantage for them that this great event is being held there, even though that they are a very strong team also when playing away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true that. But I mean, the strong backcourt is the one thing. But how about the wingers? So I looked at the latest statistics, and from the wings in the past 5 Champions League games, they had 57% shooting percentage. So Andrea basically just let them throw from the outside.
Exactly. As you said, I mean, that's a good analysis. But we know statistically this can go either way, and it doesn't have to mean at all. I mean, that's going to be the case in the Final Four. So I would never rely on that. I would just try to, playing against them, I would try to, hard to say. I mean, they're very efficient from all the positions, I would say that Diona is the one who is going to shoot outside, from outside. Also Jorgensen for sure, but she's also good one-on-one. She can shoot from the floor in this kind, a lot of different shootings. But in one way, definitely Diona is going to shoot from outside. And I mean, they have to try playing against them to stick together in defense. When Bruna is playing one-on-one, I think 2 players are like must. So trying to fill the gap between her and the defender would be the best option in order to stop them. And she's the engine of the team, and I mean, she's playing really well. So that's the thing. And I do believe that Brest is, in one way, it's going to force the fast play. I mean, fast transition. Probably they're going to try not to allow them to change. So that could be a good thing, playing against them in one way, because they can have some changes that attack defense. So let's see if they're going to use that.
But do you feel that the fast play is something that would do harm to Győr? Because I personally really like their back movement, especially on fast breaks.
It's gonna do harm for everyone. It's not for them only. I think Brest is good in that. Brest is good in transition. They're very unpredictable. They're really efficient in a fast break. So I think that's one of the best parts of their game. So for me, I would do the same, and I would try to avoid them changing. And probably they're gonna put some weight on Bruna in defense, because if you get her tired, that could be a very important task.
Who's gonna win?
I mean, the last 4 times they played against each other, they drew once, and Győr won with 1 goal 3 times. So it's gonna be a repeat of that Győr is gonna win it.
Andrea?
I give them slight, I would say, advantage, which is also normal in one way, really. But I'm really looking forward to that match, and that's also for the first time that I think they're playing second match. They have been always playing. I'm talking about Győr. They have been always playing the first match, so that's also a different schedule for them.
Oh, does that actually change a lot?
I mean, in your head, I think it's better to play the first match. That's my point of view. Playing second match, you have less time to rest. I mean, it's not about the hours that you have time to recover yourself, but it's being late, until you finish the match, go out from the hall, take a dinner, then do some recovery things. I mean, going to sleep really late, and it's important to have a good night of sleep. I mean, before the finals.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so we'll see, and we'll move over to the next semifinal that awaits us. It's CSM Bucuresti against Metz, and let's start it here with Bucuresti, because it's the first season after the Cristina Neago retirement and the first qualification for Budapest since 2018. Martin, how does that fit together?
When you say it like that, it doesn't really make sense. But it seems like maybe if we have to put it in some way that there were some other players that need to take the responsibility that Neago had, and maybe they looked at her whenever the games was tight and expected her to decide them, because she's always been doing that. So now they needed to step up themselves and take some of that responsibility. And I have to say that for me it was a surprise that they won so clearly against Esbjerg. Not one thing is winning, but so clearly. But something happened with them after Bojana Popovic took over, and
that's the difference.
Yeah, and on the other hand, I also feel like there are a little bit of pressure on them in terms of they didn't win the cup, they didn't win the Romanian league, and now they are here and they want to get a good result. But Bojana brought some mentality into the players, because they've been performing very well after she took over.
Yeah, as you just said it, she took over in December 2025, so mid-season, and our Euro Handball colleagues talked to Tatjana Brnovic, and she said, well, Bojana united us. Andrea, you played under her in Podgorica in 2020/21. How does she do it as a person to unite a team?
Unfortunately, I was injured in that part of the season, but I was there with the girls, so I had the opportunity to see how she how is she doing? I mean, in that way, and I think that as Tanya said, I mean, it's a lot about mentality. It's a lot about approach. It's a lot about energy, passion that she puts into it, and she's a mastermind also. So we're not talking about the energy and character, these kind of things. I mean, she knows handball so well that I was really not surprised. So now when I saw that she's, all the credits to the ex-coaches, of course, but when I saw that she's coming to Bucharest, I said that they're going to be on a Final Four. So I had this prediction like many months ago, and I'm happy for her, happy for the team, because I do think that they showed a great unity. I think that was outstanding, and I could see them as a team which, like, every player had their own role. We could see players like really stepping up throughout this last 6 months, and that was really beautiful to see.
And it helped them. So it helped them to march all the way to Budapest. But I mean, Martin, you said it already. They lost the league decider against Gloria Bistrica in March, and only 9 days later they got eliminated in the cup as well. Do they need the Champions League title more than any other team in the Final Four?
I don't believe so. I mean, they are a big factor within women handball just in Bucharest whenever you think about them. But the pressure will always be on Győr. They're playing in Budapest. We see them as the biggest team. But I feel like and do honestly believe that there are some pressure in the sense that they need a good result. And what does that mean? I don't believe that entirely is winning the Champions League title. But as you just said, also, they didn't win anything so far. So at least they need to get a medal. And beating Esbjerg, who is also a favorite for many of us before the season with the team that they have, that's also a big success story. And there are some players that have stepped up, and I need hopefully some Romanian people will go to the arena as well and try to push them even more forward and help them in that sense.
That would help them get a medal, that's for sure, because they are playing a team who is desperately seeking a medal as well. Let's look at the latest history of Mets there, because 2025, semifinal out. 2024, semifinal out. 2022, lost the semifinal. In 2019, lost the semifinal. 4 semifinal exits in the last 7 years. Andrea, why is it going to be better this year?
I really wish them well. I mean, if somebody showed the constant, like, I would say like a constant game of great matches throughout the season, it's Mets. And every year is like that. But somehow every year when they come on the Final Four, somehow they drop. Because we have been also expecting from them some trophies in our previous years. And then I think nobody still have this, I would say, gut to predict that they are going to win the trophy, because the history is not on their side. But I do believe that they are hungrier and hungrier this year. I mean, they have some new players, if I'm not wrong, correct me, and also Zari is there, so they brought some experience now in the last months. And I don't know, I don't see them as a winners this year, but I do believe that maybe this is good for them in one way, because year by year they are not winning. So the thing is, probably they have been disappointed in last years, and I do believe that feeling that they are carrying in their, let's say, soul coming on a Final Four is not easy to have, and I'm sure about that, but there is a one curse that they need to break it. So maybe this is the year, you never know, but sometimes I hope honestly that for them, if someone really deserves to win, if someone has been constantly good throughout the seasons, it's Mets. So many good Champions League seasons. I mean, they were outstanding. They were better than anyone throughout the season. Then Final Four comes and somehow the form drops. So maybe they did something different this year. I don't know. So let's see.
Sounds like a mental thing at some point. When does it become a mental thing?
It becomes a mental thing when you're losing constantly. You are having high ambitions, and becomes a mental thing for sure. I mean, the thing is also like, I would for sure use a psychologist. Let's say that would be me, like in the terms of to overcome some sort of pressure, because you cannot tell me that you don't have a pressure coming on a Final Four. I know how many times in a row already, correct me, I don't know, but I don't know which Final Four it's already, this one is for Mets, I don't know, like.
Yeah, at least the 5th.
For sure. And I would say they have been like in the 2 best teams like last 5 years. and they were not close to win it. So that's also the thing. It becomes a mental thing, especially they have some great players. They're winners already of the medals in their national teams. So I do believe they're very, very hungry.
Yeah, one of them is... yeah, go ahead, Martin, sorry.
No, the curse will end when Metz will play against Esbjerg. I believe one of the teams has to qualify for the final, right?
That's also right. I wanted to say, yeah, you're right. But
Yeah.
it is.
It was close though. It was close. But Esbjerg got taken out by Bucharest. But yeah, let's stay here at the world class players that you just touched, Andrea. Let's look, for instance, at Sarah Buktit. She's at 105 goals, and when you're watching Mets games, what I feel like is they are very playful and they have got many solutions to get the ball to Sarah Buktit. Or Martin, how would you define Mets this season?
I mean, it's in some sense it's quite built up around Buktit, so it's also going to be a big loss when she leaves the team next season because she's so physical dominant in especially in offense, and she can catch the ball in many different ways, and having fast players around the physical line players can create some spaces for them to go 1-1 or even Buktit to get the ball, as you just said, which happens quite often since when you are a line player and scored more than 100 goals, and I don't know how many goals she scored last season and the season before that, because I remember we spoke about her the last 2 seasons also, that she's a very talented and good player, and also starting to establish herself in the French national team. So she's if not the most important one, then extremely important for Metz.
So I'm just looking it up, at least for last year, but I'm not that quick. There it is. Last year she was at 90 goals, so she surpassed herself there already. But yeah, coming from the line player, let's look into the backcourt a little bit. Lena Granvaux on a good season, Tyra Axner on a good season as well. But Andrea, are they missing an outstanding player in the backcourt? Someone who can really decide games by herself?
I don't think it's that. For me, they're a real team. I mean, you never know who is gonna step up. For me, they're like two amazing wingers. We cannot really forget on them. They are both outstanding, or three of them really outstanding players. So for me, they're so dangerous. You never know who is gonna step up really. So for me, Vamos, we cannot forget on her. I mean, she's also great. She has been great also. So for me, I mean, they are such a hard team to defend. And I do think that they have one thing. I mean, they are respecting the system so well. You know, you can see the team is very disciplined. So you don't have a player who is gonna do something different, you know, who is gonna surprise you in one way. I think they have a lot of freedom. But in another point of view, I know Manu, and I know the way how he prepares the team, and it's the team has to be disciplined. So they need to follow the rhythm, they need to follow the rules.
Okay, well, little correction here from my side. Sarah Buktit, back-to-back 107 goals season that she's just finished, so even more impressive. And yeah, then let's close it down here as well with who's winning. Andrea, you're starting.
I don't know why I have a feeling that Chessame is gonna win that one.
Okay. Interesting.
It's just a feeling. I'm following my intuition also. When they played a quarterfinals, I also went for them, and I'm gonna stick to that one.
So your final is gonna be Györ against Chessame. Martin, do you agree?
That's my thing.
Yes, I am. But I wish that I could go for Brest against Chessame, because then we would also have a final with 2 female coaches, which I also believe is a nice story so with Rafael and Bojana Popovic being there. But Györ in Budapest, I have to say them. And Chessame sounds... But Metz is not going to make it then again.
Yeah.
These predictions are a disaster. It's 24 hours, 2 matches. It's like...
Yeah.
Final 4 is made for miracles. So let's see if it's going to be like this.
I'm going to say Györ will win.
Okay, well, then let me complete the final first because I'm going with Metz. I think it's finally time for them to break their curse. Sarah Buktit on the line. And I do feel like if Chesame has got one weakness, it's closing down the center. So they do have their weaknesses there. And with a very playful Metz, we will see how that one is going to evolve. So, yeah, Martin, you spoiled us already that you're seeing Gjør as the winner. Andrea, you're going with it?
I also do believe so. I mean, for now on the paper, they look the best.
I do have to agree on that one. We are gonna predict the MVP and the top scorer here as well, though. Andrea, what's your read? Who's gonna be the MVP?
Oh, that's a tough one. Let's say, I'm gonna give it to Bruna, or I'm gonna give it to.
No, only one. Only one.
Oh, that's tough. That's really tough. Let's say Bruna.
Martin?
Some goalkeeper. That's my tough.
Yeah, that is indeed very tough. Then, because I have a different one for top scorer, then I'm gonna go for MVP Sandra Toft.
Sandra Toft. Okay, I am giving it to Diona Hause. Let's see what she can do.
Yeah.
And top scorer, Andrea.
Let's go for Anna Gross.
Anna Gross. Okay.
I mean, talking about the Final Four weekend, yes?
Yeah,
Then
only
I'm
talking
talking
about the
only-
Final Four weekend.
I'm going for Anna. I mean, she's finishing her career, and I do believe that she's gonna show some show there.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just having to look up right now. I think she's somewhere at 60 goals. She's not gonna score 70 to surpass.
No,
Henny
I
Reis
don't.
this
I don't
weekend.
believe. No, I'm thinking only on the weekend.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
come
yeah,
on.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm
Only
just
on
talking
the
about the
weekend,
weekend.
Yeah.
But like this, maybe Bukti.
Okay, Martin.
For the weekend, I need to predict the top scorer, right? Yeah, that's Dione. That's why I
Dione.
didn't take her as MVP. She will be the top scorer instead.
I think that one is gonna go into the direction of Anna Vyakireva. She's gonna have a massive weekend there, but not gonna be enough. All right, interesting predictions here. So let's see who you guys in the comments are trusting. Who has got the best predictions? Who do you guys go with? Let us know in the comments as we wanna have a look over to the men's side for the Truckscout24 EHF FINAL4 as we are switching hosts and we're bringing in the guy that wasn't always pretty, but most of the times he scored the goal. That's why he steals the looks today and looks just as good as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. Víctor Tomàs, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And now, I'm so happy because I just realized that when I say something, you are listening to me because you just quoted me, right?
I quoted you on yourself. That is
Yes.
quite something.
Yes, my friend. I'm super happy because that means at least you are listening to me,
At least you.
Well, I mean, one of us has to, I guess. But yeah, I started the podcast with Andrea with the same question that I'm going to ask to you. How was the week before the Final Four for you?
It was great. I think it was 1 week that you are preparing and that you are already in this killer mode, training and focusing on what's coming. And I think it's the best weekend of the whole season. So I really have good memories from this week because everything it's positive energy and positive emotions.
Yeah, fair enough. Switching into that killer mode until Flensburg-Handewitt comes around and it's the 48th minute, but that's a different topic.
Hey, but this guy is always coming to my defeats, He's never remembering the semifinals that are okay, the finals that are okay.
That's the boring stuff.
Somehow he has a click in his mind that everything is coming in front of his mind when I'm saying something against me.
The problem is that everybody just always praises you with all your trophies and all your victories and all the paddle greatness that you bring onto the court. So one has to humble you every now and then. Nah, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
What Bengt does is he's building you up with confidence in the beginning to tear you down,
Yeah. Okay. No, but actually, yeah, he's right.
Nah, I'm just joking. But yeah, Martin, you're gonna get the same question as Eric earlier as well. What's the closest semifinal that we're going to see on the men's side? SC Magdeburg against Füchse Berlin and Aalborg against Barca.
I thought you were going to ask me how training week was up to EHF Final4, and how the focus would be. No, coming back to the question, to be serious here. I mean, it's two interesting matchup coming up at the men's Final Four here. And if I have to say, I'm actually going to go with the German duo as the closest one, as per now. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, it is the rematch of last year's Champions League final. It is number 1 versus number 2 in the Bundesliga, reigning German champion against the new German champion. Victor, when are we allowed to call it a Klassiker?
Oh, that's a good one. I think Berlin doesn't have the same history as Magdeburg in handball terms. But I think Füchse Berlin is writing a very beautiful and nice history in the last, let's say, 5 years. I think the history of the whole club itself is really beautiful because coming from nothing until now, quite fast, and until being in a Champions League final, being in a Final Four, being champion of the Bundesliga last season. I think the whole story is beautiful, but I think they need a little bit more good results in the upcoming seasons to be able to consider like El Clásico. That, in my opinion, there is only one Clásico in handball, which is Kiel Barca. Mm-hmm. But Magdeburg is one of the most Clásicos teams in handball history.
I also believe that they are doing a good job by them competing in the top of the Bundesliga, and then also having Potsdam as a, can you call it a collaboration club, where they are playing in the second league, and also then they have the second team of Füchse Berlin in the third league. So it's a good development also for the younger players who plays for Berlin, that they have the chances to play for some of the lower in the lower leagues in order for them to get some playing time. But that's a different story about Berlin in general. But the history is not that, can you say, big yet.
Then let's look into the closer history of both of the clubs. Which quarterfinal do you guys think felt better to win? Winning it on penalties like Füchse Berlin, or scoring 80 goals like Magdeburg, Victor?
Both are feeling good, but in terms of show and spectacle, I think the one that Füchse Berlin won in penalties, I think Magdeburg showed they were quite superior against Szeged, if I'm not wrong. Mm-hmm. And in the case of Berlin, it was just from the point of view of the fans, it was hard wrecking, So, yeah, I'm gonna say Füchse won.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But then let's look at both of the teams and start to compare them a little bit. We'll start here with the backcourt. And Martin, Andersson, Lichtlein and Gitzel versus Gisli, Klar and Omar Rengi Magnusson. Who wins the backcourt duel?
That does...
What a difficult chapter, eh? Mm-hmm. What a difficult episode today. Oh my God.
But I'm going to say Füchse Berlin.
Why's that?
Well, I mean, if you have the MVP of the cup tournament in Germany, Lasse Andersson, and nominated to the best player in the world on the right back position, in that sense, that's why I'm saying Füchse Berlin. Do I believe that the Magdeburg team, in some sense, are more, can you say, true to the way that they're playing and the fit? The three of them, they have a better fit together, if you can put it like that. That doesn't mean Füchse Berlin the three backcourt players doesn't fit each other very well, but they're just very loyal to the playing style in Magdeburg, and but I mean, if you have the best player in the world on the right back position, and the other one was nominated MVP recently at the cup, then I'm gonna have to go with them.
I want to make a statement that I think both backcourts are amazing. Mm-hmm. Maybe it might sound like a stupid one because I think the reasons that Martin just said are quite heavy reasons. You know, Gitzel, it's, I think, probably not debatable the best player in the world at this moment. That's for sure. And Lasse Andersson and Niels Lichlein are playing in a really, really great level. With all that being said, I would take a little bit before Magdeburg backcourt. I think Gisli is not a two-sides player, but I think the backcourt of Magdeburg with Felix Klar and with Ingi Omar Magnusson, it's a little bit more balanced, you know, because all the attack in Berlin, it's a little bit more going on the right side with Matthias Gitzel, and he has the almost all the time to start everything, you know, even though Matthias and Nils are also doing a great job. But in my feeling is that it's a little bit too much depending on Matthias Gitzel. And in my eyes, Magdeburg, it's a little bit more balanced.
If I could choose, like if you put Lasse Andersson up against Klar, I would say Klar. And if you put Gisli up against Lichlein, I would say Gisli. But then I would say Gitzel over Omar Ingi in that sense. But that's sadly I couldn't do it like that, so I had to choose one of the backcourts, and it's close, as Victor says.
I think the people who is listening and watching, they need to know that we are putting in ourselves in a very hard spots today.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Those are not
because
no easy questions here. But then let's start it here with Füchse Berlin a little bit, because it just became clear that even though everything happened in Denmark and Høje Elite actually got relegated, it got confirmed that Lasse Andersson will actually leave Füchse Berlin. Probably not how he imagined it, since he is still performing on the highest level in the Champions League, Martin.
Definitely not what he expected, and it has created some headlines here in Denmark. Obviously, also because they have invested a lot in this project in Høje, and also Jannik Kren is coming to the second league now to play from, but going to be the MVP of the cup tournament in the strongest league in the world, and also playing Final Four to play the second league in Denmark. There's only one conclusion that has to be made, and that is because it's of other reason than playing handball, and there's obviously because of family reasons. And I also know they bought a house in Copenhagen, and probably the family has to say something as well later on at this stage after playing some years abroad. But everyone would say, why not take one more year at Füchse Berlin, and then Høje would probably be back in the best league. But only Lasse himself knows when the right time is for him and his family to go back to Denmark and his roots in Copenhagen. I believe that's the primarily reason why we are where we are, speaking about a very, very, very good player who has been performing unbelievable for many seasons now, is going to the second league in Denmark.
Yeah, and I mean, he has proven that in the Champions League just recently as well, so definitely some quality that Füchse Berlin is probably going to miss in the future, right, Victor?
Yes, I think because he's giving them, as I said, I like the balanced squads, you know, and I think he's giving them a lot of balance because he is a player that can defend in number 2, but also in number 3. If in the running back the team doesn't make the changes that they need to make to set up the defense, he can also stay in another positions with a good level. And I think it's a player that it's a very important player on building the history that we were talking about earlier, on building this history for the club. You know, I think he's been a quite big name for the development of the club, the development of the results of the club. And I think that, of course, a player like this, it's going to be missed. That's for sure.
100%, but there is still enough quality in the club to still be writing history, because as we have been talking about the right back position, Matthias Gitzel right now at 126 goals, and I do remember asking you that question last year already, so that might just become our tradition here. Martin, is Matthias Gitzel gonna break the all-time record of Mikkel Hansen with 100 141 goals in a Champions League season?
Yes.
Yes.
You think
Yeah,
so?
yeah,
So he's going to score 15 this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's why not? Unless he gets another red card as last year, then I don't see why he shouldn't. I mean, what is his goal average at? I believe it's somewhere around what we are discussing now at the moment.
Without penalties, which is
Exactly.
mind-blowing.
Imagine. I said it many times. Look at the scoring percentage from him, and that's without shooting penalties. And then having in mind some players that are, having around the same, but they're shooting penalties.
No, the scoring
And that's-
percentage of Matthias Gitzel playing as a backcourt player, it's
That's-
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's beyond the
Imaginable.
understandable, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What this guy is doing, what this guy is doing week in, week out, it's not understandable.
Yeah, I agree 100%, and he's part of the reason why Füchse is where they are right now. Finished their group with 22 points ahead of the likes of Aalborg, Kielce, and Veszprém. Victor, I'm interested in hearing your opinion on that, especially because you said, well, they need to score some more results in the near future. Would you say they have established amongst Europe's best already?
Yes, I would say yes. I think that being in the Final Four 2 years in a row, that means that you are in this, let's say, group of 6-8 teams that, in my opinion, are at this moment the royalty of Europe.
And for me, it's important that they have some consistency in the title. So last year they won the German league, and this year they have the cup. And as Victor said, 2 times in a row also at the Final Four. So that's when we start debating whether they are up there as among the top teams in Europe.
Yeah, well, and we will see whether they can take down the very top right now, because Magdeburg's still reigning Champions League winners. But from our perspective, let's hope for it, that it might even go to extra time and penalties eventually. But if we're looking at the last 7-meter shootout, Füchse won theirs against Veszprém, but Magdeburg lost theirs against Bergische HC in the cup. So if it comes down to a penalty shootout, do those facts play a role at all? Does your brain start to work there, Victor?
I would like to tell you no, but I think it's a very individual thing. You know, I think that we have spoken about this in the podcast. As I said, the most pressure that I ever felt in my handball career, it was in the penalty shootout against Flensburg. So of course it's a lot of pressure, and if the last penalty shootout you lost it, it's very individual if this is something that is affecting you or not, you know. I think that with this character and quality players, I would say no, but everything depends on how the players are feeling also about what happened in the game, you know, because the feelings of the game are also really, really important when it's the time of shooting the penalties.
And at the Final Four, the teams are more equal, so they are not thinking about what happens if I miss now because Bergische will then win the big underdogs. We're going to lose to the team that nobody believed we could. Here it's like, if you lose to Füchse Berlin, it's not like a disaster.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, talking about pressure brings us over to Magdeburg, as they're coming in as the reigning champions of the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League, and they couldn't be in better shape right now. So they smashed Saget out of the arena with 80 goals scored in 2 games, secured the Bundesliga championship already, and can focus now on Cologne. Technically, you couldn't ask for better circumstances to arrive in Cologne, but Victor, as we all know, Cologne, is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
Normally, being the favorite in Cologne is not the best, but I would say it's nice when the players and the team and the whole group is getting there in a good state of mind. I think normally the body is following the mind, and I think in this case, as I said, this week preparing. It's better to prepare when you are Bundesliga champion than when you are not. So I would say it's not a disadvantage.
But talking about the preparation, and Martin, you just stated it as Magdeburg is always loyal to their playing style. I mean, Bennett Wiegert, he has proven us over time now that his system just works flawlessly over the past years. But why doesn't it become foreseeable at all?
That's a good question. I mean, they are teams that have, made sure that Magdeburg struggle more than they normally do, but it's also depending on how can you actually control the rhythm of the backup players and the 1-versus-1 from them. So if you can start to push them to make more technical mistakes or get free throws so they don't get into this kind of flow, that's the key to it, but it's very tough to do that against players like Omar Ingi. And also, they're very good at, passing the ball. So it's not about only them being fast and going 1-versus-1. It's also a matter of timing when to... Omar Ingi, Felix Klar, they always get a free throw, or Gisli whenever they go 1-versus-1. Sometimes, from my taste, one free throw too much, but in order to be able to stop them. But that's why it's very, very tough to not break it down. And with that said, I actually also believe that Oscar Bergendahl, Saustrup is an unbelievable Bergendahl. He's an underrated player in terms of defense. I don't always feel like people speak that much about him, but he's a beast. And once he gets a hold of you, he's not gonna let go of you. And that combination together with Sergei Hernandez, and it's just a very what is it called? The homogenetic. What is it called when it's a very functional team playing together? I believe there's an English word for it. I forgot it now.
Yeah, homogen is the German one, probably in that direction.
Yeah, something like that. I forgot it now. But that's what I think about when I think about Magdeburg as a team. They are with an underlined team. That's why it's very tough to stop them. It's not like they have that one specific super player that you need to get a hold of, and then you have them.
So, who's winning? Victor?
The semifinal? Or the whole thing?
The
or the whole thing?
We're coming to that later.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's a question I really could not prepare for. I wasn't prepared to see who's gonna come to the final.
I'm gonna go with my guts. I think Magdeburg is a little bit in front at this moment.
Martin?
Before the episode, I would have said Magdeburg, but I don't know what changed my mind. But I'm gonna go Fischer Berlin then.
I think it's Victor saying Magdeburg that changed your mind, and you wanted to go.
No, actually not in this case. But for me, it's just a feeling with these two.
Yeah,
it could.
It can always go in either direction. I mean, the recent statistic speaks for Magdeburg actually. So this season they won the direct encounters. Technically, I would say at some point Berlin will beat them, but it's not going to be in the semifinal. Magdeburg is going to make it, and that's where we are going to look over to the second semifinal, the rematch of the 2024 final. Back then, still with Mikkel Hansen, the last shot that ended on the crossbar and ended his career. Martin, how's the mood in Denmark? Is Aalborg still on revenge for that one?
The mood is good in Aalborg at the moment. They recently just qualified for the playoffs final in Denmark and gonna play against Aarhus, not GOG, who lost actually the semifinal. But they won the first match with 19 goals and then the second one with 5. So they're pretty confident in that role, and everybody expects them also to win. The biggest surprise this season is that they actually lost a game in the Danish league. So they are on a good roll. What worries me even more is that in this semifinal, Thomas Andersen went out with an injury. I don't know how bad it is at the moment, but if he's not playing, that's a big big loss for Aalborg, with like a very, very big loss. For me, Arnoldsen and Mads Hoxer is two crucial players. Of course, Niklas Landin, he can show up at games because of the experience and the name himself. But those two, they need to be 100% fit in order for them to have a chance against Barcelona, the way that I see it.
Well, great way to dribble the question, but is Aalborg still on revenge course for that 2024 final?
Oh yeah, for sure they are. I mean, okay, I didn't answer that directly, but they speak out
As
loud.
usual,
It's not
as usual.
it's not the Danish way to do it, but they say they only have one goal at Aalborg, and that is to win the Champions League. So that will be the goal every season until they do it, and after they've done it, they probably want another one.
Fair enough. That's the only way of approaching it, and for that they will need a stable backcourt. And I'm gonna start with the same question here: Arnoldsen, Knorr, and Hoxer versus Engasson, Makutz, and Dikamem. Victor, who wins the backcourt duel? If Arnoldsen is at 100%.
I'm going with Barcelona backcourt. I think they have been proving year after year after year after year that they are always there, always in the Final Four, and I think winning 3 of the last 5 Champions League, that's quite a big achievement and statement for me to stick to them.
And Martin, you would agree?
Yeah, but it's very, very, very close to me. It's because, Dikamem wins the right back duo. Then Arnoldsen, N'Gosang, I said it many times, N'Gosang is probably one of the most underrated backcourt players in the entire world because of what he has performed. Then Yuri Knorr is probably winning it for me on the playmaker position if you have to put them up head to head. But in the sense of Barcelona wins it, but with a small margin, I have to say, with a very small margin for me.
And I'm very interested in hearing your opinion on the next position that we want to compare here, because it's a Danish internal duel between Niklas Landin and Emil Nielsen. It's a bit of a generational duel as well. And I personally don't have an answer. As I wrote down the question, I thought about it already, and I can't answer it. Who is more clutch in these type of games, Victor?
Oh my God, what a freaking episode.
Yeah.
My God.
And it's the
I
the
was not
semifinals.
prepared for it. I was not prepared for this, you know?
Because it's two world-class keepers that have proven that in the biggest stage they will be there when it counts. But who has got the 1 more percent?
I think 99% of the times I'm picking one side. I'm always answering to the questions, but in this case, for me, it's very even.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's very even. I think both goalkeepers are world class. I think Niklas Landin has shown the last 20 years how good he is and how important he has been for the teams that he won championships for, because always his performances are top class. But I think Emil Nielsen is doing the same the last 5 years. And it's sometimes not the number of saves they do or the percentage, which is pretty high all the time, but the timing of doing those saves. And I think both of them are very clutch. So I'm so sorry, but I would say it's even in this case.
Yeah, Martin?
We are allowed to say it's a draw and even.
Yeah, well, I mean,
without
on
answering
that
the
position,
question. Somebody just pointed out that I'm not answering the question here. No, okay. I thought about it the entire time, and I actually even myself cannot say it because I believe the experienced Niklas Landin, he has a tendency to show up when it's needed the most. But on the other hand, Emil Nielsen has been performing regularly at a high level, and I believe he has it in him. But Landin, once you fire him up, he will be there, and it's gonna be Yeah, it's the, can you say, the legend and then the younger guy taking over the legend at the national team, and now they have to battle each other in a class of titans. Yeah, it is completely impossible for me to say who's gonna have the most clutch. The only argument is that Landin had more years to clutch than Emil. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but I mean,
go.
Emil Nielsen has been around for quite some time now as well. He's already 29 as well. And he is part of one of Barca's golden generations that is just about to come to an end, because some of those players have been announced to transfer away as well. Emil Nielsen leaving this summer, Dika Mem next summer. Victor, how does that affect a team's chemistry?
Well, I actually think that when important players and loved players inside the locker room are leaving, this is something that is making the guys being more united, because they want to say goodbye in a good terms, in a good way. And I think that this is something that is making the group even stronger.
I do agree with you, especially since the next generation has already arrived, especially Petar Cikusa. He is starting to get comfortable in that Barcelona dress, having scored 24 goals in the last 7 Champions League matches. Martin, what do you expect from him in this year's Truckscout24 EHF Final 4?
Oh, for me, he's a kind of a X factor to bring onto the court, Sikusa at the moment. I wouldn't put too much pressure on him, but we also saw last year that they have some younger guys coming in. Was it also Jaime Rodriguez? Am I remembering correctly? That also helped a little bit last year. And there was also a defender I cannot really remember the name of at the moment, which is obviously, I'm sorry for.
Palomino.
Yeah,
But he's not in
exactly.
Barcelona anymore. Yeah. He's in
No, I'm
Granollers.
just saying there are some younger ones that came up last year, and their younger ones will also take over. But Sikusa is for me an X factor player. They can bring him in if it doesn't work with Marguc and also Nguzang. But besides that, I don't expect him to have the biggest role.
Well, then talking about X Factor players, let's go to the Aleix Factor players, because he's the gift that just keeps on giving. 103 goals already, and on the hunt for his highest scoring season. Only 1 goal missing for that. How is it even possible for him to still be improving, Victor?
Honestly, I don't know, because I know him as a person, and he's so unorganized with his life, and he's just so.
So you
let's
mean
say,
if he had a presentation
unconscious.
for school tomorrow, he would just start today?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God! And he's so unconscious, about the tension, the pressure, the importance of the moments, and I think this is his biggest gift, actually. That he's just enjoying and enjoying and enjoying, and I think that I think he's one of the biggest raw talents that I have ever seen in my life, because he's so good that he doesn't even know how good he is.
And on an MVP road right now?
Why not? Why not? I think that he have shown also consistently that he's always there, that he, in the important moments, he's always there. He's not afraid. And why not? He is goal scoring machine, and why not? He is running for the MVP. Yes.
Yeah, we'll see how that one will develop. But their opponents are stacked with MVP-worthy players as well. And Martin, how do you like Aalborg's squad this year? I mean, they are having a mix of veterans like Buster Yule and Niklas Landin, combined with young players in important roles like Yuri Knorr and Mats Hoxer. Did they improve compared to last year?
Yeah, they improved a lot. The talking point this season is that will Aalborg lose a league game or not? That's where we are at the moment, where some of the other seasons, I believe that if teams like GOG and even Skanderborg Aarhus, if they perform at their best levels, they could challenge them. But at the moment, I don't believe there are any teams close to them. So, and also the likes of the goalkeeper. Yeah, I mean, they have world-class players, and they're not only one on each position, but actually two. And it's pretty impressive what they're doing in the Danish league in that sense. But also the mix of primarily normally only having Scandinavian players, and now they brought in Ulrik Noah, who in some sense learned Danish faster and better than some of the Norwegian and Swedish players.
He is almost Scandinavian already.
Yeah, exactly. Learning one
but,
of the hardest language in the world.
Last season they had Alex Blah as well.
Yeah. But in general, it's like mostly Scandinavian players. Vlad was also a good contribution to the Danish league, and then it's also a fit whether you like the Danish weather and the playing style and the league and all those kind of things. But the Aalborg team this season have struggled throughout the season a little bit with injuries on and off. But if they have a full squad, then wow, what a squad, I believe, with Sagosen, Ulrik Noah, Arnoldsen, Hox. So it's going to be an interesting duel against Barcelona. I don't believe Barcelona is going to, nobody said that they would, but they going to win like easily on cruise control because, as you said, the last match they had, and I also believe that last time they played in Aalborg won with 1 goal, if I remember correctly. So it's going to be...
I think quite... contrary. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game, and I think the way Aalborg physically and in terms of speed is playing, it's matching Barcelona, and I think it's going to be a very, very interesting and tight game.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about those players, talking about the world class on each position, but talking about injuries as well, that does lead us back to Thomas Arnoldsen for a second here, because he is turning up and he is in massive shape right now. Martin, how important is the Final Four for him as well regarding the Denmark squad? Because initially, of course, due to an injury as well, but he was left out of the Euro squad and played already a solid first half of the season. But man, what a performance ever since his Euro. He scored 51 goals in 6 games after the Euro. So a great Final Four tournament. How important would that be for him regarding Denmark?
He's crucial for them to have a great tournament in general. They need him in both ends. I mean, what he has been doing since the Euros, and let's remember when he joined the Euros at that time, he had played 1 friendly match against a team from the second league in Denmark called Vendsyssel. He scored 14 goals in that game, and then coming back, being able to cover in defense in the middle and contributing. He's crucial for them. Also the way that he's been playing and just actually the power he brings into the game. But as I said, he got a hit on the shoulder, and at the moment I don't really know the status of it, and I also don't believe Aalborg knows it themselves. So hopefully I will cross my fingers, because we want the best players to play, and they need him very badly.
So, easy question to round it up. Who's winning? Victor?
I'm going with Barca. But as I said, I think it's going to be a really, really tight semi-final.
So Barca-Magdeburg, your final. Martin, how about you?
I wish that I could easily just say Aalborg, because my Danish heart is screaming Aalborg. And I want
scream
them
it
to
out.
be in the...
Talk from your heart.
Yeah, is it from my heart or my head that I need to answer now? From my heart, I would say Aalborg. From my head is still telling me Barcelona. And so it will be Barcelona against Fischer Berlin in the final.
I do see Barca a little bit ahead of Aalborg as well. That's why I'm seeing Magdeburg-Barca as the final as well. 3 more questions for you. Top scorer, MVP, and the winner of the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League. Martin, who's going to be the top scorer this weekend?
Gitzel.
Victor?
Matthias Gitzel.
Matthias Gitzel, I do agree. I'm gonna break it off here with my MVP as well, because that question in the Aleix factor wasn't coming from nowhere. I'm seeing Aleix Gomez as the MVP. Victor, who do you have as the MVP?
Nielsen.
Emil Nielsen?
saying mine. Emil Nielsen is going to be the MVP. Yeah, he is.
Fair enough. And then who's going to win the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League? Martin Vilstrup.
The MVP always comes from the winning team, so it's the Barcelona.
Victor?
I'm going with Barcelona as well.
Me too. So all of us are seeing Barcelona winning, but as it always is in Cologne, you can never know what happens, and whatever you predict, be sure that the exact opposite is gonna happen. So congratulations on Arbor for winning the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League 2026. No, I'm just joking, but it is a great tournament that is just around the corner, and we want to hear your predictions as well. So drop them in the comments and enjoy the 2 final weekends of the EHF Champions League 2026, and after that we will hear each other again when it's time to talk handball again, everybody.
Ball across to Dylan Nahi, double in flight. Oh, what a start!
Ooh, into the net.
She does it again.